In this video, we are going to talk about imaginary roots as a result of solving quadratic equations of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a is not equal to 0. If our quadratic equation cannot be solved by factoring, we are advised to use the quadratic formula. It's x equals negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This part here under the square root sign is called the discriminant. If the value of the discriminant is negative, we get imaginary roots. Let's do some examples. Example number 1. Solve x squared plus 6x plus 10 equals 0. Our a here is 1. If you don't see a number that goes with x squared, that's 1. Our b is 6 and our c is 10. And this is our quadratic formula. So that means x equals negative b, so negative 6 plus and minus b squared, that's 6 squared, minus 4 times a times c. A is 1, c is 10. So we have negative 4 times 1 times 10 all over 2 times a. So 2 times 1. Now simplifying furthermore, this is what we get. Negative 6 plus and minus 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 1 times 10 is negative 40. Then all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Now 36 minus 40 is negative 4. So what we have under the square root sign is negative 4. So we are going to factor this negative 4 in such a way that one of the factors is negative 1. So we have x equals negative 6 plus and minus square root of 4 times negative 1 all over 2. And we can define square root of negative 1 as I. So we have negative 6 plus and minus square root of 4 is 2 and square root of negative 1 is I. So all over 2. And we can simplify furthermore because negative 6 and 2i can be divided by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3 plus and minus 2i divided by 2 is I. So we have two roots here. The first one is using the plus sign and the second one is using the minus sign. So it's negative 3 plus I and negative 3 minus I. Example number 2. Solve x squared minus 4x plus 13 equals 0. So our a here is 1, our b is negative 4, and our c is 13. And this is our quadratic formula. Substituting these values to our formula, this is what we get. Negative of negative 4 plus and minus square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 13 all over 2 times 1. Now simplifying furthermore, we have negative of negative 4 is positive 4, then plus and minus negative 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 1 times 13 is negative 52. Then all over 2 times 1, which is 2. And 16 minus 52 is negative 36. Again, we are going to factor negative 36 such that one of the factors is negative 1. So it's 4 plus and minus square root of 36 times negative 1. So we define square root of negative 1 as I. So we have 4 plus and minus square root of 36 is 6 and square root of negative 1 is I, then all over 2. We can simplify our fraction because 4 and 6i are divisible by 2. So we have 4 divided by 2 is 2, plus and minus 6i divided by 2 is 3i. Now we have two roots here. That's 2 plus 3i and 2 minus 3i. Example number 3. Solve x squared plus 4x plus 6 equals 0. Again, our a here is 1, our b is 4, our c is 6. This is our formula. And plugging these values into our formula, we have negative 4 plus and minus square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 6 all over 2 times 1. Then simplifying furthermore, we have negative 4 plus and minus 4 squared is 16. Negative 4 times 1 times 6 is negative 24 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Now 16 minus 24 is negative 8. So we have negative 4 plus and minus square root of negative 8 all over 2. So we are going to factor negative 8. So it's negative 4 plus and minus square root of 4 times 2 times negative 1 all over 2. Square root of negative 1 is I. So we have negative 4 plus and minus square root of 4 is 2. This 2 stays under the square root sign because it's not a perfect square. Then square root of negative 1 is I. So we can reduce our fraction. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Then plus and minus 2 square root of 2i divided by 2, it's just square root of 2i. Now we have two roots here. One is using the plus sign and the other one is using the minus sign. So we have negative 2 plus square root of 2i and then negative 2 minus square root of 2i. Example number 4. Solve x squared plus 3x plus 5 equals 0. Our a here is 1, our b is 3, and our c is 5. So this is our quadratic formula. Plugging these values into our formula, we have negative 3 plus and minus square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 5 all over 2 times 1. Now simplifying furthermore, we have negative 3 plus and minus 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 times 1 times 5 is negative 20. All over 2 times 1 is 2. Now 9 minus 20 is negative 11. So we have negative 3 plus and minus square root of negative 11 all over 2. And we are going to factor negative 11 such that one of the factors is negative 1. So we have negative 3 plus and minus square root of 11 times negative 1. Square root of negative 1 is I. So that means we have negative 3 plus and minus square root of 11 stays under the root sign, and then square root of negative 1 is I, then all over 2. We cannot reduce the fraction. Our two roots are negative 3 plus square root of 11 I all over 2. And the other one is negative 3 minus square root of 11 I all over 2. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Teacher Rejil. Keep safe.